Dating a man with children. Hello and welcome to CHENGI'S world. I'm Chengi and you, my precious one, are my world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, and let's get this party started. Now, for some of you ladies who are probably in your 30s, late 30s, moving forward, we would probably have to consider dating men with children. And this is something that comes with its own set of dynamics. This is something that comes with its own set of complications and very difficult to handle for some of us. Now, what I wanted to share with you is that not every person is cut out for the life of stepmom. Not everyone is cut out for taking on other people's children. But if you feel that you are cut out for it or you've never tried it, then I'm just going to give you a few pointers about what to expect when you're dating a man with children. Now, it all depends on the situation and circumstances. If his breakup was amicable and him and his mother's baby mama were married or parted ways really well, then you're probably going to find that it's going to be quite fine. The good thing about dating men with children is that it's very rare that they are raising those kids unless the wife died or the wife was in some way incapable, or the former girlfriend was incapable for whatever reason of looking after the children, because usually custody goes to the women. So he will have time to you won't have to go home to the kids and have to look out for the kids. Now, when you have children yourself, this is something that's really easy to understand and something that you can work around. But you will find that men who are low value will use their children as a reason to not give you the time and attention that you deserve. They will always use their children, eventually use their children as a reason why they can't even be with you, period. So we are now dealing with, when you meet a high value man, a man who understands the worth of the woman that he's with and also is responsible to his children, and bearing in mind that you're obviously an understanding high value woman yourself. So these are the pointers that I need to make to you. Number one, a high value man with kids will manage his time appropriately and communicate effectively. Now, a high value man with kids is not going to book every weekend that he has in his whole entire life to be with kids. You're going to know when he has his kids. You're going to know that he has them every other week. And it's going to be a while before, for instance, you get to meet them, because you have to you will only be seeing him maybe possibly 2 weekends. You will have to adjust yourself a little bit around him. But depending on whether or not he is serious and really wants to get to know you and really wants to get to understand who you are, he will be the sort of person who he will be the kind of person who will coordinate with you, but it will take a while before the kids get to know you. So you have to be really patient when you're dating a man with children, because things won't move at the pace that you would like them to. And I find that men are that bit more protective of their children than women are when they're separated, because they just don't want to give you access as easily. But what you want to be able to do is to really appreciate that this is going to be the case. But he will make those times when he doesn't have the kids, maybe during the week, available for you. He will make sure that he slots you into his life somewhere in a way that is meaningful and thoughtful. And if he's not doing that, then you need to keep on moving. Number two, children are usually really open to new people. They tend to have a very accepting heart. The only time a child would be offish with you is if mom has poisoned the child, but more or less, if you're a good person, a warm and friendly, children will accept you. So there's no reason to be anxious that they won't accept you or that they won't love you. If you're genuinely a good, warm, kind person, children really read energy really, really well. When it comes to discipline, it's probably best that you allow their dad to discipline them. That's point number three. Let their dad do all the bad stuff, all the telling off, all the whatever. And you focus on building trust with the children. And if they do anything, then tell their dad and let their dad tell them and address them. It's probably best that you do this for a while, until the relationship that you have with them is solid and they love you and trust you enough to take correction. So it doesn't mean you need to tolerate any kind of nonsense. Of course, there's some things that as an adult, even if I'm walking on the street and I see a kid doing it and it's unhealthy or unsafe for them, I'm not going to say, I need to tell your dad. I'm going to say to them, I don't think that's really smart, sweetie. We don't want to do that, do we? Okay, so there's a way that you can still be a responsible adult. Number 4, don't ever judge his parenting. Don't ever say, well, what kind of dad are you then? What kind of man are you that you don't look after your kids or blah, blah, blah. Don't judge his parenting. If he has the kids over and they do nothing but eat and hang around and sit on the sofa and do nothing with their time, that's fine. That's completely fine. That's his choice. You don't want to have to say to him, oh, why don't you take the kids out? Why don't you go do this? He's doing with his kids what he gets on with his kids. Never ever judge his parenting until and unless you are now permanently part of their lives and can offer that service yourself. Okay, number 5, never say anything negative about their mom. If she's a problem, let him handle her. Now, sometimes kids will say, my mom said you're a slut, or whatever, depending on the relationship that you have with his ex. Don't ever say anything negative. Always say something positive so that when the kid goes home, they say, oh, Chengi said you're lovely, you got beautiful hair, you're such a beautiful smile. Even if the ex doesn't like you, they will know that you are speaking well of them. And if they don't like you, eventually they will eventually like you. And the child will begin to see that, this other lady doesn't say anything horrible about my mom, but my mom always has something horrible to say. And the children will begin to make up their minds. Children are very, very clever. And if you start sending messages to them, or, my mom makes better cookies than you, well, I hope your mommy will be happy to share her recipe with me, because I'd love to be able to make cookies as good as your mom, is a better response than, well, go eat your mama's cookies then. Or she's whatever insult you want to give her, right? You don't want to start a war with the ex. Okay, point number 6, meet them as soon as possible. Let a man know when you go on a date that, I'm the sort of person who would love to meet your kids sooner rather than later, because I would hate to fall in love with you and your kids can't stand me or I can't stand them, and then everything goes down the ditch. You can introduce them to me as a friend. We don't need to be lovey-dovey, but I'd love to meet them before anything really truly happens with us, if anything is to happen with us. So just recommend that you meet them early. And point number 7, if you love them, then if you fall in love with him, then it's your responsibility to win them over at whatever cost. You see, the thing is, when you decide to deal with a man with children and you decide that he's good enough for you to fall in love with him, you have to win those children over to your side. You can't be proud and be like, well, they're brats and I'm not doing it. And I just feel like, why should we even have to have them in my house? We're not going to do this, the wicked stepmom thing. What we're going to do is do what it takes, get to know the children, show them love and affection, and let them know that there's a woman here that truly cares about them until they have a second mom in you. And that, lady, might take some time. If that sounds like it's too much, then steer clear. Don't date men with children, or date men with children who've left home or big enough who are no longer there. But again, as we get older, the more unwilling and open you are to certain things, you do become more niched in this kind of man that you want. And you have to be prepared to wait longer, be prepared to overcome a lot, more moments, and meet fewer and fewer men that meet your criteria. So you want to be very clear about yourself and what you will and will not accept, and just honor yourself. So if this is not for you, you don't have to do it. So that's from me to you. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the meantime, take care of you. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.